of the new world.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
Die! Drop it!
Well, okay, here we are with Sly Stallone Shop, 1/6 scale, Marion Cobra Cobretti from the 1980s movie Cobra. A cult classic, a hit, just one of those movies that everyone loves if you grew up in the 80s. I love the box that they have for this. There's just this sort of watercolor image on the front that's very similar to the 1980s red poster, which I really love. On the back, it has Sly's signature on the top, all the accessories that you can get with it, the stand, the guns, the glasses. I just like how they used that method for this box in the back, and I wish more 1/6 scale figures did that. Here's a great overview of the figure. You could see that they got the proportions right. It looks just like Sly Stallone from like the 80s. I mean, the guy's still in great shape, but it nailed what he looks like back then. And the outfit is perfect. It looks just like it did in the movie. That's not something that's easy to do, to make a figure have that like aesthetic, that style from like a different decade. And then here he is with his jacket on. Really love this jacket. You can go with or without it. The figure still looks amazing. So I highly recommend just finding what you love, what scene you like the most.
What's in the box?
In the box, we get a little card that has the box cover artwork on it, and on the back side, it has a list of all the artists that worked on the figure. So kudos to them, they did a great job. You get his 80s jacket with the cuffs pre-rolled, which is amazing. And then you get the black aviators, which look great on the figure, and his custom Colt with the Cobra artwork on the handle. It might be an ivory handle in the movie, I can't remember. Then you get the leather holster, which I think actually might be leather. Looks great on the figure. You get his badge, 2 grenades, a watch, beaded metal necklace, and then you get an SMG with the optic on it. Here's a close-up of Cobra's custom Colts with the Cobra artwork on the side. And then we have the wristwatch, the grenades, and the badge. And then you have his metal beaded necklace, all made really well, and they don't feel like they could break easily. And then you have his SMG. Then going on to the matchsticks that you can put in Cobra's mouth are very tiny. You get 3 of them. For hands, we get 2 closed hands. You get 2 relaxed hands. And then you get 2 gun holding hands you could use for either the SMG or the custom Colt. All of them go on really easily, which is nice. Okay, so I love this Cobra stand. It's one of my favorite stands I've ever gotten with a figure. You can see the black scales on it, the Cobra head popping up right at the bottom at the base of the figure. It's just, it doesn't take up a lot of real estate, and it's really well made. I'm very happy with his head sculpt. I think one of the things people need to think about when they look at a head sculpt is someone that has really strong features like Stallone does. It's not easy to create that head sculpt because you can exaggerate it a little bit too much and make a kind of cartoonish looking version. But they really nailed his look from multiple angles, and I've tried different poses with the sunglasses on and off, and it just looks great. I personally prefer it with the sunglasses on because that's the Cobra I think of. When it comes to the articulation, you can move the arms up to the side pretty far, not as far as some other figures I've had, but it's really not necessary for the poses that you would do for a Cobra figure. That's pretty much as far as they would go, and I really wouldn't push them any farther, even though this is a pretty sturdy figure out of a lot of the figures I've had in my life. The knees only go up about that far, but that I think would be culturally accurate with how tight jeans were in the 80s. And the leg going back is pretty good. It goes up to about 90 degrees. And spreading the legs apart is about the same as bringing the knee up. You can only go so far, but again, I think you could do all the poses that you would want to do for Cobretti. And his head moves around 360. I think this head sculpt is fantastic. It looks like Sly from the front. From the left side profile, you still get that Sly look. Also, I love the hair coming from the front all the way going down the back. It kind of has that layered style of cut that he had in the movie. And then the right side profile, you got the hair coming down the forehead, and you got the 5 o'clock shadow. It still has that Sly look. It's not a 10 out of 10, but I'd say it's between an 8 and a 9 out of 10, and it does the job. The attention to detail on the clothes is fantastic. The shirt has that thermal shirt feel to it, and it's tight in all the right places. The jeans are made out of denim, I'm pretty sure. It feels just like denim, and they have that old yellow stitching on it, and you can see some dirt kind of weathering in the jeans, which gives it that feel that he's been wearing these jeans on the streets. And the boots are good. They're just standard like plastic boots, but they look just like the boots he wears in the movie. The belt is perfect, just like the movie. I really don't have any complaints about the clothes themselves. I was very happy with them. Everything is there for Cobretti. You have the watch, the badge, the grenades, his holster, the SMG, the glasses. The glasses are actually probably my favorite, that and the custom Colt with the Cobra on it. But you get everything that you would want for this figure from that movie. There's really nothing missing. I mean, I would love to have a 1/6 scale version of his car, but that's never gonna happen. Well, maybe. You never know. The Stallone Shop might do that. That would be pretty incredible. It would be the centerpiece of my collection, but otherwise, fantastic. For the life of me, I couldn't get these damn matchsticks to stay in his mouth. I broke 2 of them. One of them went flying, I lost it in the room, and then I found it. But I was as confused trying to use these as John Spartan was using the damn 3 seashells in Demolition Man.
I'm happy that you're happy, but the place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Unfortunately, I had a problem with the glue on the holsters. It was wearing out on the straps, so the straps were just pulling apart when I was putting it on the figure. I was able to fix it by re-gluing it, but just something to think about.
This gets a girlfriend tolerance score of 0. This is not going anywhere where anyone can see it.
Except for my Casa house.
Except for your Casa house, yes.
That's right. So if you're a fan of Stallone movies and Stallone himself, and you grew up watching Cobra, this is just one of those figures that you have to get out there and get, because they're not going to make a lot of Cobra figures, maybe never again. And the character's so cool. He wears cool clothes, he has a cool car, and just such a gangster on the streets.
It's bad for your health, you know?
What is pinche? Yeah,
Me. Clean up your act.
It's stuff like that that they don't do in movies today, that I wish they still did, because even though it's kind of odd, it just plays so well and it's so funny. And I look at my collection now, and this is like one of the centerpieces. I have no other figures in my collection that are prototypically 80s. Like, you look at it, you go, that's an 80s character. And I think that's something to think about, because shelf presence is one of the main reasons why we get figures. What's my final score? 8.8 out of 10.